Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you my VS Code setup, how I work, what are the extension I use and all this. But it doesn't mean you have to follow this setup because the choice of ID and how you set it up, it is your personal preference. But I'm going to show you my setup so that you can get some inspiration or you can use some of the items that I use. But again, you don't have to follow this. You find your own setup and use this video as an entertainment video. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, how you set up VS Code. If you check the extension tab, here it is. You can see the install section. So I have a lot of extensions installed, but I think half of them I don't use. But in past, at some point, I installed it and then I forgot. So let's see one by one what are the extension I'm using. The first one is auto rename tag. Yeah, this is a very useful one. If I open any file like this one, say this is app.tsx, or not this one, maybe this one. Yeah, this has one div, right? Now see, if I change this div to span, it automatically changes the end tag also. This is very useful. So this is a small file, so I can just go ahead and change both start and end, but consider it like a big file where when you change the first tag, you have to find out where the last end tag is and then you have to go and change it. So it is time consuming, so that's why I use it. If I change it back to div, you can see that automatically it changes the end tag also. So yeah, that is a very useful one. Second one is dark mode. This is one theme, I guess. Debug visualizer, this is one I was experimenting with, but I don't really use it. Fourth one is debugger for Java, but I don't use it right now. Second one, the next one is Eclipse. This one is I think theme, and this one is error lanes. Yeah, this is a very good one. So if I go to the files, now suppose I'm in this page, so here I'm going to write some code that is not valid. Say this is not valid JavaScript, so it is showing the error message over here only. Now this is one useful extension because you can see that normally if I don't have this extension, VS Code will just show the error as a underline, right? If you mouse over it, if you hover it with your mouse, then only you can see the error message. That is fine, but sometimes I feel like this is useful because suppose when I change something, suppose I create some function, while writing only I can see what is the error message. It can be distracting for you, so but I find it useful because I don't have to go and click on the error message. I can just see what is the error message directly and I can just fix it. So yeah, that is useful for me, can be useful for you also. Okay, next one is ESLint. I use ESLint in some of the React projects. ESLint is one, I think I explained ESLint in my React video. So it's like linting your JavaScript. Is a static code analyzer. It shows some error messages in your code, and if you use this extension ESLint, it integrates with your ESLint setup and it can show the error message right inside your VS Code. So yeah, it is useful sometimes. Next one is extension pack for Java. Maybe I installed when I was writing Java, but I'm no longer using it. Then this is one theme, I guess. This is a dark theme. Actually I have installed a lot of themes. This is a GitHub dark theme. Okay, I'll show you how to install any theme, right? You go to the command palette, that is Ctrl+Shift+P for Windows, and then you can search for color theme. Then it will show a lot of different themes. I can directly change the theme from here, and at the end of this list I think there is a link to install any other arbitrary themes. Yeah, this one is the one. Yeah, this is the one, browse additional color themes. If you click on it, it will show a list of different themes that is not actually installed. So if you just click on any themes, it will automatically install it. That's why I think it is showing a lot of different themes here, because I think I was experimenting with different themes, then it automatically installed it. So that's it. This is Gradle for Java. Yeah, when I was writing Java, maybe I installed it. Then this one is import cost. This is interesting. Okay, I'll show you in this page. Can you see here, I imported React Router DOM and the extension is showing how much I'm actually importing, that is 8.1 KB. The first line is 6.9 KB, that is the React. So when I'm using any third-party library, third-party npm modules, I can clearly see whenever I'm writing the code, I can clearly see how much I'm importing, so how heavy my application will be, that I can see whenever I'm writing, right? So it is useful sometimes if you are concerned about the performance. It is useful then. This is IntelliCode, something from Microsoft, some AI assisted development. I think I was experimenting with it, and but I don't really use it. This is also same. Next one is Jest. Yeah, Jest is a test runner. If you are using Jest in your code, like in this page, I think in this project I'm using Jest. If I go to package JSON file, I am using Jest actually. So if you're using Jest and if you install this Jest will show you this tab. There is a testing tab. You can see if I click on it, it will show the tests that I have already written. Now if I click on this run test button, it will directly run the code from your it will run the unit test from your VS Code ID only. You don't have to type in a command in your terminal. So that is sometimes useful, and you can also debug the code, debug the test, all these things. This is useful. Then I have another Java plugin, Maven for Java. This is a theme. This is another theme. Prettier. Yeah, Prettier is one code formatter. I explained this Prettier in the React setup video. So this is something like it formats your code so that the formatting is consistent across the teams, and so that's why we use it. And if I install this Prettier code formatter as an extension in VS Code, then I think it integrates with the VS Code formatter. So automatically when you are saving the file, it will automatically format all those things. I explained the Prettier setup in React setup video. You can go and watch that. Next one is project manager for Java. This is again Java. I have to uninstall all those. I'm not really writing Java right now. This is one I was experimenting with this. I'm not really using it right now. This is something like directly from your editor. When you are writing the code, you can execute that, something like that. I'm not really using it. Then I have the test runner for Java. I think this is for JUnit. And then this is the most useful one. I think this is the Vim emulation for the VS Code. So let me tell you, before coming to VS Code, I was a Vim user. So I used Vim. If you don't know, Vim is a editor that is very popular. I think this is Vim is probably 40 years old, more than 40, because it came out in I think 90s, 80s or 1990. So I was using Vim before switching to a VS Code. The mainly why I switched to VS Code is because I switched from Linux to Windows, and in Windows some of the Vim plugins were not working, so I switched to VS Code. But I'm still using the Vim keybindings, so that's why I installed it. But again, you don't have to learn Vim or install this plugin or anything like that. You use whatever the keybindings you are comfortable with. Okay, so it has some setups also. I will show you that, and I will go to the setups settings file. I'll show that. Next one is VS Code icons. So this is icon pack. I think shows different icons for your different file types. Like for example, this one, this is this is one CSS file. It is showing the CSS icon, and this is a TSX file. This is showing the React icon. You can see the icon over here also. And if it's a TS file, it's showing the TS. So this is like, see, for the package JSON also it is showing npm icon. For git ignore it is showing a git icon. This looks pretty actually, so I installed it. This is VS Code icons. Then I have one that is, this is a theme. I think this is Redux autocomplete. I don't know if I'm using it or not. I just installed it and kept it there. Okay, next one is GitLens. You can see this is currently disabled because, so GitLens is useful when you are working in a team and many people are committing in your code base. So that time I find that GitLens is really useful to find out who committed the code and to find the history, all those things. So currently this is not my work laptop, so here I kept it disabled, but I'm using it for my work actually, because at my work I have a very big project and everyone is committing, many different people are committing, so the git history is very complicated, so I need to manage the git history, and for that I'm using this GitLens extension, but it's currently disabled here. Okay, so these are the extension I use. Next, I'm going to talk about the settings. How to change the settings of VS Code. First, what you can do is you can go to the command palette, that is the Control Shift P for Windows. You can see this command palette here. If you search settings, you'll get two settings. One is the UI, that is the open user settings. This is the UI of the settings, and you will also have the JSON settings. So I'll use both. So at first I'm opening these settings. You can see that it has a lot of different settings. You can go ahead and change anything, and whenever you are changing anything, it will automatically create one settings JSON file. If you open that file, this is the one. So in this settings file, you can see it will update the settings file. And the good thing is that you can keep the settings file, you can store it in somewhere like Google Drive or whatever, and whenever you need the settings, if you are working in a new computer or you uninstall VS Code or anything like that, you can just copy this settings JSON file and all your settings will be with you. So this is really useful, and sometimes directly I change the file also. So that's it. Whatever you can change here, if you change something like for example this one, if I change it, I don't know what this is actually, but if I change it to 11, maybe it will add it over here only in this settings. Yeah, it added this line, right? But I don't really need this right now, so I'm gonna remove it. All right, so I'll show you this settings, the JSON file now. So most of the settings, I think I added some lines, but I forgot what it does, but I'll try to remember actually what it does. The first one is editor quick suggestions. I think this one is, let me open one file to show what it does. I think this is quick suggestions. This one is like when you start typing something, it shows some suggestions, right? It's to search for comments or not, to search for strings or not, all these things. But I don't know exactly what it does. Somehow I found some configuration, I added it. This is the settings for the icons. This one is update imports on file move, that is enabled. That means I think this is useful when I am refactoring. If I move some files, it will automatically update the imports, something like that. Workbench panel, I think this is the panel that comes in the bottom of the page. I think this is the one. Let me check. If I change it like left, what happens? I don't really know what it is. Okay, debug console, I don't know what that is. Cursor style is line. So I think cursor style is the cursor that you can see here. That is the cursor style. If I change it, I can change it to thin line or underline. I don't know what it does. I'm sorry. I'm going to change it to whatever I had. Line numbers on. If I turn it off, what happens? Yeah, you can see that there's no line numbers here. Now if I turn it on, it comes back. So I think it is the default only. If I remove this also, it will be. So I think in the past I turned it off and then turned it on, so that's why these settings are there. Next one is word separators. I don't really know what this is. This looks like some regex. I don't know what this is, but I'll keep it. I don't know what it does. Word wrap is off. Wrap you can change from here. Change it. This is the toggle word wrap. Word wrap, as the name suggests, you must be knowing what this is. If I open one page, this one, let me duplicate this page. Now you can see that this is the wrapping is not enabled, right? Because you can see I'm hiding the line if the line is too long. Now if I turn it on, see what happens. It reflows the page and you can see the full line. So that is the wrapping. I will turn it off. Editor insert spaces. I think that is something like if you try to create new line, it is automatically adding some spaces over here. I think that is the one, not really sure. Next person is files that exclude. You can see that I have, so these are the files, these are the file pattern, that is the folder patterns that you should exclude from processing. I think we have two types of settings. One is the files exclude and there is the search and exclude. That means suppose node modules, right? If I search something over here, this is the search tab, it will exclude the node modules folder, because everyone knows the node modules is a very big folder, right? It is not our code. Whatever is there in the node modules, that is not our code. So if I want to search something over here, I want to search from our code only, right? Whatever I have written. So that's why I excluded all those files like pil files or some git files, right? So these are for search. I think these are for, I don't know, I think maybe like error processing, like if there is some error, VS Code shows the error, so I'm excluding those, something like that. Also there's a watcher exclude. I'm not really sure what I think this is for jest. I think this is for unit tests, so automatically when I change something the unit test runs, something like that. I'm really sorry, I forgot all those things. Whatever I have, I'm just skipping it. Okay, next comes the Vim section. If you're not using Vim, then you can skip this section, but I'll quickly show what this is. HL search is true. That means using Vim, if I search something, like suppose I'm searching something like insert, enter, then you can see that this insert, this word whatever I'm searching, that is highlighted. So that is called highlighted search or HL search. If I turn it off, then it will not be highlighted. Alright, next one is highlighted yank enabled or not. So this is like when I yank something, that is something like copying in Vim, then it highlights the line. And also there is an highlighted color and highlight duration. I think if I increase it, you can properly see what I'm talking about. So if I yank some line, yank means copy, then it will highlight that portion. So see, I'm going to yank this line. I will press YY. You can see that this line is highlighted. So sometimes it is useful because suppose I'm going to copy this entire section, right? So YA bracket, so I can quickly see how much is yanked, so there is no confusion. So that's why I added this highlighted yank. Okay, I'll reduce the duration to 300. Alright, next one is insert mode key binding. I added this binding, Vim binding, that is JK, KJ, JJ, KK for escape. So in Vim, how we navigate files, this is the reason I extra angle. You can see my keyboard. In Vim, we don't use the arrow keys. We use J to go down, K to go up, right? So normally this is like fidgeting. When I'm thinking, I'm just keep on pressing JK, 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 something like that. Now in Vim, when you start typing, like I've started typing now, right? This is called insert mode. Now I'm in insert mode. You can see it over here that I'm in insert mode. Now if I go back to command mode, or not command mode, if I go back to normal mode, I have to press escape, right? Now sometimes it is difficult to press escape because in Vim you have to press escape a lot of times. Like whenever you add something, like I added some lines of code, then I have to press escape to go to the normal mode again. Then I can use JK to go up and down, all those things. So I mapped JK, KJ, JJ and KK to escape because see, if I type some word, then I press JJ, it goes to insert mode again. Or if I just add something and JK or KJ, anything. So as I told you, when I'm thinking, I keep on doing this. Not only me, I think all Vimers do this. So it automatically goes to normal mode. That is the target. We should always sit on the normal mode in Vim. Whenever you try to add something, you want to insert something, then you insert it, then go to normal mode. So that's what it is doing. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Now render white space is none. If I turn it on, so I turn it to on all. Okay, now you can see it is showing the spaces over here. Or if I use tab, I can quickly find out, but this is what it is. It will show you tabs or space or enter, all those things. So I'm going to remove this now. I'm going to set it to none. I don't want to add extra things. Okay, second one is window menu bar visibility is compact. You can see that I don't have the menu bar over here. So normally menu bar means that file, edit, view, that bar, right? So if I set it to compact, it will hide this inside this hamburger menu. Okay, if I click on this, I can see this file, edit, extra, these extra things. So normally I'm not really using it, so I rarely click on this and click on file or do something. So that's why I kept it compact, so that it is not visible, it is not distracting, right? Code length is false. I forgot what this is. Suggestion selection first, I forgot this is. VS intelligence, I think this is part of the extension that I used, but I'm currently not using it. I don't know what this is. Maybe I'll remove this. Next one is cursor blinking solid. Now you can see that my cursor is not blinking, right? This is my cursor, it is not blinking because I feel like the settings are there, so I added it. But if I remove this, now you can see my cursor will blink, right? It is blinking. I think it is distracting, so I made it solid. Now it will not blink. It's good. Second one is smooth scrolling. Yeah, this is also useful when I'm using Vim. So suppose I go to the first line, then I go to the last line, go to the first line, go to the last line, right? uh, if I don't have the scrolling enabled, like smooth scrolling enabled, then it automatically jumps. Sometimes I feel like I am losing the context, like where my code is going. So suppose I'm moving to one line down, one page down, one page up, right? If the scrolling is smooth, uh, visually I can just think of it how much it scrolled, right? So that's why I enabled it, this smooth scrolling. This one, list scrolling smooth. I don't know, I think this one is this scrolling. I set it to smooth. Quick session delay is 0, definitely why I have to wait. Font size, it is, I think it is default font size now. If I add this font size 20, you can see that it increased my font size. I'll remove this now. Next one is jest settings. I think this is deprecated, I have to change it. I'll keep it for now until I start running the test. I'll keep it commented. Then I have the default formatter, so I'm using Prettier, so that's why I added this one. Otherwise I think Prettier and VSCode formatter both try to format our code in different ways, so conflict happens. So that's why I added this. Then cursor moves caret animation. I think this is for, like, when I move my cursor, you can see, suppose I'm going to end of the word and the beginning of the word, you can see that my cursor is, if you're watching it in 60 fps, I will upload it in 60 fps, you can see this, like my cursor is moving, like it is not directly coming to the front and end, it is like moving from the front to end. So things like that, you can see that my cursor is just moving smoothly. So the settings are there, so I used it. If it is not there, then I wouldn't have used it. But yeah, that's good. This one I'm not sure what this is. Next one is HTML. Really, I forgot all these things when I added this, but that is there. I'll keep this. Zoom level is 1. Currently this is zoom level 1. You can change the zoom level from control plus, I guess, and then controls minus, but this is a default zoom level. Suppose in some monitors you want to increase the zoom level, then you can do it from here. Breadcrumb enable is false, so by default, I think in VS Code, if you enable it true, or I'm just going to comment it out, you can see that this is a breadcrumb, like see users path, then it is settings a JSON, right? I don't really need it, this is distracting, so I just disabled it. So breadcrumbs disabled. Sticky scroll enabled, I'm not sure what this is. Next one is minimap enabled false. Minimap is like this one, can you see in the right side of the screen, this is a minimap. Yeah, this is sometimes useful if you have a very large code and visually you can find out like where you are in this code, or you can find out like there is an error here, I can directly go here like this. Sometimes I use it and sometimes I make it disabled, so I'll keep it disabled here because it saves some space also. Theme is currently default light theme. Actually I normally change it from here, so here you can change the themes and it automatically changes these settings here. Alright, so that is my settings, the JSON file. I'll also show my keyboard maps. Okay, so first of all I'm using Vim keybindings, so Vim's keybindings are there. On top of that I have the VS Code keybindings also. So I'll go to how to go to the keybinding. You can go to this file, then preferences, then keyboard shortcuts. So here you will have all the keybindings. Okay, now if you customize it, it will create one JSON file and you can keep the JSON file with you. So I'll not show here because a lot of keybindings are there. Probably I'm using maybe 5% or 2% of the keybindings, so I'll show what I have configured. Okay, so I can go to keyboard shortcuts JSON file. Okay, so here you can see I have added some lines, so automatically if you change the keybinding it will create one entry here. So I'll show one by one what I have done. I think I removed the default keybinding, so I added one control B keybinding. What happens when I press control B, it opens the left side panel, and if I press it again it goes away. So that is the setting. I'm not sure this one is by default enabled or not. The next one is control L. Actually I think I removed the control L binding so that I can use Vim's control L, something like that. control P. I removed the control P for Vim, I think, so that I can use default control P to search files. Yeah, next one is, yeah, this is also cool. Control J and control K added. Okay, I'll show you what this is. I think this is for next suggestion. This is for, okay. So I'll show you what happens when I'm searching one file. Suppose I'm searching this page. Now if I go to the next item, I can go to the arrow key. You can see my keyboard. I can go to the arrow key and then use the arrow keys. Otherwise I can also use control JK, so I don't have to move my hand. So see, I'm typing this, then I'm going to second, third, that I can select it, search, select it. I don't have to move my hands. That's the main idea. And also I added for the quick suggestions outside. So suppose I'm writing something over here and I have the suggestions, then I don't have to move my hand. I can just use control JK to select the suggestion that I want. So that's why I added, I think, these 4 items, 2 for this command control P and other 2 for the suggestions. Right, lastly I think one more key combination, that is, I think, control tilde. It will open the bottom panel. Okay, I think by default if you press control tilde it will go to the terminals, but I converted it to toggle panel because sometimes when I'm in problems tab, sometimes I check the problems, then I go back to, I just hide the panel. So it is useful to always toggle with some key binding. So these are some of the bindings. I also use some bindings for Copilot, but that is not available here because this is my personal laptop. In my work laptop I have GitHub Copilot also, so I added some settings for some key bindings for the Copilot also. Maybe I'll show Copilot later in my home laptop also. I'll install Copilot and show. So that's it, that's my settings. I'm telling you again, you don't have to follow my settings. You find out your settings, what you are comfortable with, or if you find something useful in this video, then you can use some of the items from here also. Alright, if you like the video, please hit like, and you can subscribe to my channel to learn about JavaScript or any JavaScript tips, interview questions, all those things. So that's it for today's video. Please explore my other videos and watch.